How you doing? This is Yaakov here with another beautiful chiddush. In the merit of this chiddush, may Yehonatan Mashiach ben Esther, Natan Yaakov ben Yanta Friedel, and Dror Moshe ben Emanuela, and everybody here, and all of Am Yisrael, and the whole Emunah channel team, and all the people of the world, B'ezrat Hashem, be zocha to find health, success, and wealth, spiritually and physically, to connect us straight to Hashem. I read last week Parshas Vayeshev, beautiful, beautiful chiddush, and I'm going to combine it with a different idea that I heard in Uman this past year in Rosh Hashanah. It was very beautiful, by Rabbi Nachman of Breslov's burial site, where that people go there every year. Thank God. Sometimes I feel like I'm there. It's a good place, good place. So, there was a rabbi, beautiful rabbi, Rosh Kollel of North Miami Beach, Rabbi Singer. He said that the Zohar HaKadosh says, the Holy Zohar writes, that in the Akedas Yitzchak, where Avram Avinu, Abraham, was offering Isaac as a sacrifice, Yitzchak as a sacrifice, we find that it says that and it says about Avram Avinu that he saw Hamakom Merachok. He saw the place from afar, from far away. So the Zohar explains that what does that mean, that he saw the place from afar? We know one of the nicknames of Hashem is Makom, place. So it says that, so the Zohar explains that it's saying that he saw Hashem from afar, that Hashem was far away from him, so to speak. And at that time, Hashem, his 10th test, Avram Avinu had a 10th test, and that was the 10th final one. And Hashem was saying, I am far from you in this test. That's how this test is starting. The requirements of this test are that you are far away from me. This is their final test. And Avram Avinu has to serve Hashem like a simple, normal individual, a Jew, a normal individual that doesn't see Hashem necessarily, and he has to know how to look for Hashem. He has to know what to do. And we find this last week's Parsha, Maharash Rav Shik writes in this beautiful book, The Inner Stream, he writes about the idea that there's a lesson in Likutei Maran, Rabbi Nachman's magnum opus, that speaks about Ayeh, that there's a lesson of Rabbi Nachman called Ayeh. It's a concept, it's a beautiful concept that you could use throughout your whole life. And where Yitzchak Avinu, and he's with Avram Avinu, and they're going on the mountain to go, so to speak, slaughter Yitzchak. Yitzchak asks Abraham, he asks Abraham, where Ayeh Aseli Olah, where is the Olah offering? It's one of the korbanot, one of the sacrifices in the Beit HaMikdash, our holy temple, that was offered. So he was asking, how we get? Where's the korban? I don't see anything around here to be offered. So where is it? So Rabbi Nachman says over there that Yitzchak Avinu was asking Avram, Ayeh Aseli Allah. Not only the korban, the purpose of the korban is to draw you close to Hashem, to elevate you. So Yitzchak was literally saying, Ayeh Aseli Allah, where is the korban? Where is the offering? Where is the elevation? Le Allah. Where is Ayeh Aseli Allah? Where is the elevation? How are we going to get elevated? Meaning, the situation was connecting the two pieces of information that we said so far, that Avram, he was serving Hashem without his Avram Avinuness, without his righteousness, complete righteousness with him, and all his wisdom that he attained over the years. Hashem took that away from him temporarily. That was the 10th test. That was the situation he was in. And Yitzchak Avinu, he was following Abraham. So he asked Avram, where is the offering? Meaning, how are we going to get elevated? Meaning, how are we going to find Hashem? Meaning, Hashem is called Ori V'ishi, my light and my salvation. How are we going to get out of this situation? How are you going to pass your test? How are we going to grow in this situation? What does a Jew do? What does a person do when they're in that situation where they can't see Hashem and everything seems to be going against them and there's complete darkness around and it looks like there's no truth in the world, right? So we find by Rav Jor many times, Rav Jor has said, what is Emunah? Emunah is the idea of when remembering the time, recalling the time, and making it real, that There was a time where you saw clearly, and you saw Hashem was with you, and you saw Hashem was in front of you. And now, you may not see that. You're in a dark situation, you don't see Hashem. You should know Maloch Halartz Kivodo, that Hashem's honor and His glory, Hashem fills all the world. He fills every space. So you're in a place, you're far from Hashem, but you're with Hashem still. So you're far, but you're with Hashem. You can't see Hashem, but you're still with Hashem. So you have to ask Hashem. You have to open your mouth. As it writes in the beginning of Bereshis, that what kind of being is a human being? It's a medaber. We are speaking spirit. Our main power is in our speech. Hashem put it that way. He made it that way. That when we were saying Ayeh Cellular, like Yitzchak Avinu, how are we going to get elevated? How are we going to get out of the situation? How are we going to find light? How are we going to find truth? How are we going to get out of the situation? How are we going to be elevated? How are we going to get holier? How are we going to pass our tests? How are we going to grow? We have to ask Hashem, where are you? Because I know that you're here. And I know this is Olam HaSheker. I know this is the false world. So my eyes could lie to me. Because what I'm seeing may not necessarily be what is. But if that's the case, so I'm asking you, where are you? Only if you reveal yourself to my eyes will I see you. And that's what we're asking Hashem. And when a person does that, Rabbi Nachman Abrasov writes in Likutei Moharan that when a person asks, like Yitzchak Avinu, and when Yitzchak Avinu asked, where is the offering? How are we going to get elevated? He's not questioning Hashem. He's a person who questions Hashem, and he doesn't really, in a bad way, meaning a hard situation happens to them, and they run the other way. They don't even think, where are you, Hashem? They say, I don't see you, so you must not be here. But if a person is searching for Hashem, and they know, okay, it's dark now, but I know Hashem, you're here, even though I can't see you. So then, with that emunah, a person will be zocha to get out of the situation, or rivishi. They're going to be zocha to have salvation. They're going to have light. They're going to have light in their dark situation. They're going to be able to see, right? So that's what we find, and a person will be able to pass their tests and get over everything that they need to get over. And we find in Maharash Rav Shek writes in our parsha, in the last week's parsha Vayeshev, that he writes that's why it says that Yosef HaTzadik, he was successful in his master's house. It says, Rav Maharash says, what does that mean? He writes, the reason that Yosef was successful was because he was in his master's house. He was in the worst place, Egypt, and the master of Egypt, so to speak. His house, it's like the worst, defiled, evil, ridiculous, immoral house. And there is where Yosef found success. Because of the greatness of the distance of Yosef from Hashem at that time, right? Because of the darkness, because of the place that he was in, because of that place, because of such a dark place, he was able, and he knows, Hashem, he fills all the worlds. He's here, even though I don't see him. So he was zoche to reveal Hashem in that place, and it was a huge light. And that's the light of Hanukkah we're finding. That's the light of Hanukkah that coincides with the Parshiot that Hanukkah is during these times. Yosef HaTzadik, the light of the Tzadik, is this flame that never gives up. It always has emunah, even when the situation doesn't seem like it should, or it should go a certain way. It's the light of emunah. And we find in lesson 10 in Likutei Moharan that Rabbi Nachman writes there that the apikorsut, the heresy, the philosophy that's denying Hashem and giving the world the chance of saying, well, maybe he doesn't exist, and all these other nonsense things, and maybe these are the other ideas could be real, and whatever other fantasies and theories that people come up with could be real. Okay, fine. Rabbi Nachman writes, so according to our Gemara, according to the oral Torah that the rabbis passed down to us, so we find there that the Gemara writes that when these philosophies and things are proliferating and multiplying in the world, Hashem becomes angrier and angrier. And we find that Yosef HaTzadik, his name, he was named because he's going to gather all the anger of Hashem. Meaning that all of the anger, all of the darkness, right, will be gathered in and sucked in, right? Because so to speak, or so to speak, dispelled, because the light will shine, and one candle is enough one candle can shine a huge light in a dark room. So we're talking about a very great light, because the darkness was so great that a certain light that was trapped over there was hidden to such a high degree. And we need to know, just like Rav Jor was saying in one of the previous classes, that when those situations were happening, meaning that when a person sees that the situation is so dark and it looks so bad, and a person has such a hard time in life, it just means that there's a light in that area that it's waiting to be elevated. When you find that light, you're gonna thank Hashem that it's because I was in the worst place, the lowest place, that I found you there, like as you were, and I would never have known that. And that's why Yosef says about Yosef Tzaddik that he was successful in his master's house. He was successful because he was in the dark place. That dark place had Hashem's huge light, and may we all be Zohar to find Hashem's huge light wherever the dark places we are in our life, and we be Zohar to illuminate them for all the whole world and ourselves. Have a great Shabbos. Happy Chanukah. Chodesh Tov.